Good afternoon, everybody. I hope I can be heard. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Go.
Good afternoon, Dr. Go. Yes, good afternoon to you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Dr. Go.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, good
All
afternoon.
right. Okay. Thank you. Happy Teachers' Day.
Happy Teachers'
Right, ladies
Day
and
to
gentlemen.
everybody.
Yeah. So for this afternoon, our theme for the forum is We Are Teachers. So we are teachers in the sense that in one way or another, we role as teachers, whether formally or informally, according to our capabilities and our capacity. We are teachers for all seasons, in all circumstances. And this role has demanded more efforts from us to rise up to the challenges in education due to the MCO and the COVID-19 crisis. During this time, we have to work harder to devise new solutions, new strategies, and make extraordinary sacrifices to continue our children's education from home. So we therefore invite our speakers and for you to speak in your capacity as educators, as parents who are also teachers, as students, to share your experiences in your children's education during this COVID-19 period. You can talk about how differently you teach or how differently your children learn, your feelings about having to implement this new normal. And we would also, of course, like to have you share your successes, your challenges, the problems, and the concerns that you face in supporting the continuation of teaching and learning during this COVID-19. And we are fortunate to have with us today 6 amazing personalities to share their experiences. They are Miss Hannah Ng. She's a head teacher of a preschool. Okay, so this is Miss Hannah. Miss Aqilah. Aqilah, if you can show yourself. Miss Aqilah
Yes, I'm
is
here.
is a student of is a student teacher in Help Education, Help University. And then we have Miss Anna Tan, who is a child and family development consultant. Miss Elyn Pow is a parent. Miss Ravati Ramakrishnan is a lecturer in Help University, and Miss Joanne Low is an early childhood teacher. Without much further ado, I would like to invite Miss Hannah. Miss Hannah, for you to speak about your experiences and how you teach in this current situation. Hannah, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Go. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hannah. I have been in this early childhood business for more than 20 years. So during this lockdown period, we have to implement remote learning for our school. It's not easy, actually very stressful. My teachers did not have any experience online, teaching online. So it was quite a big dive for all of us. So prior to implementing it in school, we have in-house training first. Luckily, our parents are very supportive. Over 80%, I would say, over 80% participate actively in our online program. Some do not have time to teach because they are also working from home. I encourage all my parents to learn and grow together with us, as this is something new for all of us. So we did not claim to be experts. We simply have no choice. So we didn't want the children to fall behind in their learning. So that's the beginning of our story. It's really challenging for me in the beginning because I have to guide the teachers and parents how to go about connecting online to our school system and how to send and retrieve assignments from the computer. FaceTime in Zoom also was a new experience for some of us. But the most outstanding difference between then and now is notably the involvement of parents. Previously, they just drop their kids at the gate and off they go. But now they have to sit beside their children in front of the computer. They become our core teachers. The reason is obvious. The children are too young to know how to operate the computer independently, how to download stuff and maneuver the screen and so on. Actually, watching video clips, learning songs from YouTube, games and activities online are not new. People have been doing that before COVID-19. The difficult part is how we're going to do that, facing the screen without the children in front of us. Last time they were in front of us, so physically it was easy. Classroom management was easier. On screen, there are situations we cannot control. Sometimes they disappear. So slowly we learn to take videos of ourselves teaching and put it on screen. We use PowerPoints, charts, widescreen, and other apps available online. Previously, we hung their art pieces on project works on display boards, but now they can post whenever they want to on a page, school page, which we have set up for them. So this way they can still connect there and everybody can still see each other's work. There's more work to do in this sense because we have to do a lot of research and find materials that are appropriate to teach different groups according to their levels. We have textbooks and workbooks for different levels in school, but we don't want to use them on screen. Moreover, the lockdown happened too quickly and caught us all unprepared. It will take too much time for us to produce our own materials so for the time being we just have to source out the materials available in the internet. This is very time consuming, so I actually work harder in this MCO period than before. So fearful as we were to learn how to teach online, yet we were also a little excited at the same time, knowing that the whole world is moving in the same direction, teaching online, perhaps more rapidly now than before because of COVID-19. We are glad that we are trailing others in providing digital education. We are not at the forefront, but it's good enough for us at this level. At least we are glad that we teachers are still useful and are still needed in this time of crisis. My major concern would be the holistic development that preschoolers need. They need to grow intellectually, emotionally, physically, socially, and spiritually. It is obvious that our scope on screen is quite limited. In this MCO period, we can manage to provide mental stimulation, but unfortunately, we are not able to be there and hug them or soothe them when they fall down. We are not able to hold them and wipe away their tears. We can't play, laugh, and act silly with them. That is the part we miss the most. Thank you. Now I now invite Ms. Aqilah Nadira to present her speech.
Thank you, Ms. Hannah Ng. So first of all, I would like to express my gratitude for inviting me to this forum and for giving me the opportunity to share my teaching experiences as a student teacher during this coronavirus 19 period. I hope everyone is healthy and well during this uncertain and unprecedented times. I'm Aqilah. I'm a final year undergraduate student pursuing my bachelor in early childhood education at Help University. So I just recently started my internship at a private school as a requirement to graduate. So we are currently doing our virtual learning for our kindergarteners from home. So it's my first time doing virtual learning with young children. So I had zero expectations. Our kindergarteners are supervised by their parents, just as mentioned by Ms. Hannah Ng earlier, for the obvious reasons. So every day, except for the weekend, we will have our session between 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. For 30 minutes, we have 4 sections. So in every section is 30 minutes long, and there's 30 minutes to 1 hour break in between. So I feel the differences, of course, between my current internship and my previous working experiences, because previously I've worked as a teacher assistant at several schools before continuing my degree. So during virtual learning, I agree that parents are more involved. So they see the actual process that is taking place instead of the lesson outcome at the end of the day. So teacher-parent partnership has grown stronger, tremendously stronger, because we discuss more about the children's learning on a day-to-day basis. We guide the parents on how to do the activities with the children. We brief them on what the lessons that we are about to do the next day. And of course, we provide them ideas on activities they can do at home to fill up their day. And when compared to my previous experiences, the level of parental involvement in their children's learning is far lesser. But for now, thanks to the virtual learning and guidance from teachers, parents realize that they can teach too, because the lessons that we are currently using, basically we include all the household materials. So everything they can be done at home. And at first, I had mixed feelings about having to implement this new normal. At first, I was nervous, of course, because we have quite a big number of children online at the same time. We have 60 children at the same time online every day, every session. So, but day after day, I feel much more confident handling virtual learning with these children, because I know they are parents and highly involved, and children receive full supervision, full guidance at home, just like in school. Thus, these children are able to keep up with the school syllabus, albeit the new normal. So every cloud has a silver lining. And because of the pandemic, as an intern, as a student teacher, I get to experience virtual teaching, something that I have never done before. And I believe that this experience will make me a more dynamic, versatile teacher when I enter the professional world. And the current display, the current visual that displayed sums up my current work situation. So of course, as working from home is a challenge for everyone, as we all know. There are always unforeseen hiccups that we as teachers are always expected to adapt. For me, the biggest challenge is the overlap between my personal life and my professional life. So it's challenging to fulfill my professional responsibilities when I'm not in the professional environment. So because we are always facing constant dilemma between, when you first wake up, do we check our emails first, or do we have breakfast, or feed our cats, or make sure the rest of our family members are well fed. So it's a constant juggle. So and as well, we have to reinvent our lessons and find new ways to do familiar things. We have to respond to emails, texts, and calls from principals, parents, and students. But I realized that virtual learning during this, of course, especially crucial times, it makes the children's day. So I realized that my students are always looking forward to seeing us online and watching us. And despite the new normal, I'm very content that all children fully participate and engage in every session that we have. And they always make sure that the materials are prepared in advance, and always volunteer to give answers when we ask them a question. So, but my main concern is just having burnouts, because we are expected to carry out lessons, reach our professional objectives, although we are not familiar with the technology, and we are expected to adapt quickly to the current environment and find new ways or strategies to reach that target. And I conclude my speech by, as we navigate a normal amid the coronavirus pandemic, it gives us an opportunity to redefine early childhood education. Of course, the roles of teachers, students, and parents will never be the same as pre-COVID-19. Parents and teachers, they now have more power than in typical circumstances on what they want out of a program. There is also a greater emphasis on giving educators the tools and trainings they need to adjust to the new reality of their jobs. And of course, children will eventually return to classrooms and schools, but I have a feeling that virtual education will stay part of the mix. So yeah. Now I would like to invite the next speaker, Miss Anna Tan to share her experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Aqilah. Right. First of all, I would really like to give a big shout out to all the fellow educators, because I think everyone has did a good job in terms of coping with this schooling during crisis. We are all caught unprepared. Who would think that the teachers would have to start doing online classes instead of a direct classroom teaching? So for my team, as we are supporting the inclusion education, and we work with children from kindergarten, primary schools to secondary school. So it is a huge challenge, I must admit, for all of us, as we were given a very limited time to quickly adapt and change everything, and to work closely with the schools to come up with a plan on how can we support the special needs children during this pandemic period. So what we did was we basically come up with feeding the children with information first, meaning to say that to keep them informed what is going on. And the next step is we process their emotions together with them. We empathize with them and tell them that it's okay to feel certain way, and followed by telling them what are the things that they can do, sharing with them, coming up with solutions together. So, and apart from that, I think the parents' involvement actually helped us a lot as well. So as you can see from the visual, it takes a lot for a child who actually avoid going for online classes. Whenever the parents switch on the computer, the child actually literally went and hide under the laundry basket. And then with persistency and trying to understand what will work well, and constant changing the lessons to, content to make it more interesting and easier for the child to cope and fun to play with, the child actually managed to gradually sit in front of the laptop and study. And apart from that, because the child actually miss their friends, they start to ask, when can I see my friends? When can I go back to school? So we actually have planned out a virtual group, play group together. So you can see from the picture that we actually had indoor camping together. The children are doing that at their respective home, but we managed to have fun, even though we are not seeing each other. And on the last picture, you can see that the boy has finally able to join in the class with a happy face, and even dress up with the spectacles and the kitty hat to join us. So I think that's a huge encouragement for us. And apart from that, actually, we also deal with the challenges in terms of emotions challenges, because for individuals from the autism spectrum disorder, it is very challenging when a routine is changed. So some of the children might felt that they are caught. Why are they not being able to go out and play anymore? So to deal with that, again, we empathize with the child and let the child know that we are feeling actually exactly the same way too. We feel trapped too. And we process the whole feeling with the child. And from there, we come up with a social story and also explain what are the things that can be done with the boy. And thankfully, with that, he is able to understand the whole pandemic situation. And from there, he managed to cope with the online classes better. So as for the personal challenges that I'm facing, it's quite similar to what Ms. Aqilah has mentioned, because, and also Ms. Hannah, because I find that I'm working harder and there's no clear-cut boundary anymore. It's always sitting in front of the laptop and going from one Zoom classes to another Zoom classes, making sure that the whole team is doing well. So yeah, when people say that, during this MCO period, the classes are only half an hour, it makes the job easier. I think it is really not true because the effort that we have to put in is actually more. So again, I would like to thank all the parents, the teachers, and the students who have worked hard to cope with this new norm. So thank you very much, and I'll pass the floor back to Dr. Go.
Thank you, Miss Anna. Thank you, Hannah and Aqilah as well. What you have shared with us is so interesting. And I also felt some of what you have experienced, especially what Aqilah and Miss Anna said about there is no boundary between work life and personal life. Actually, in the beginning also, I felt like that, I find that even at night, I'm answering emails, I'm working. So this is a new normal that we have to get adjusted to, isn't it? Yeah. Um, I would like to share with you because this is Teachers' Day and we deserve to be celebrated. So I will share with you this video. It might have been played before, but some of you may not have seen it. Oh, hang on. Wait, hang on. Sorry, I need to.
How come?
Please let me know if it's not playing. Okay.
You can just leave it on the top there, or you
Is it playing?
Happy Teacher's Day. Happy Teacher's Day. Happy Teacher's Day. Kamu dikenang, saya sayang cikgu. Hi, my name is Amber Grace Newman. Hi, my name is Adriana Vanessa Liu Popescu. We are from Tuaran Sabah. Happy Teacher's Day to all our teachers.
We are grateful to be your students. Happy Teacher's Day. Happy Teacher's Day.
Here, we wish all the teachers Happy Teacher's Day.
Terima kasih Cik Azlan kerana ilmu dan tutur ajar yang telah cikgu curahkan kepada saya. Hanya Allah sahaja yang dapat membalasnya. Jasamu tetap berkenan.
Sige moten sungsenim pati kamsahamnida. Bukan sungsein na saya.
Terima kasihku kepadamu cikgu. Terima kasih cikgu.
I would like to say thank you in sign language. Thank you, teachers. Love you. Bye.
Oh, no. I still ask you to
Mendidik kami. Thank you teacher. Bye.
oh, sorry.
Oh dear. Sorry, I was muted. All right. Okay, let me repeat. For now, we will call upon Miss Elyn to continue on with the forum. Miss Elyn is a parent, and I'm very interested to find out from her how she coped as a parent and what kind of role she play in the teaching and learning of her child now in this COVID-19 situation. So, Miss Elyn, over to you.
Yes. Hi, I'm Elyn. I am a parent to an 8-year-old boy named Jacob. He's my youngest. I have an elder daughter who is 15. She's a teenager right now. How do I cope during this COVID period is like, it's crazy because I've been working like, because I own a F&B business, and I've been working like almost every day until 4, 5 in the afternoon. And then when I come back, I'll be so tired to really spend time with my kid. Saying that, I also feel very guilty, like, you know, when you're tired and then whatever he wants to do is like, yeah, like, just do lah, you know, whatever you want to do. So during this time, I have got no choice because you are at home 24/7. I get to understand him better. I must say this whole MCO period did bring more benefit to me in terms of me understanding my child better, you know, things that he does, pictures that he draw, music that he listens, you know, TV that he watches, you know, because I'm with him 24/7 because cannot go out and work really much, so you just stay in the house and you just observe him, right? So I tend to understand him better. I tend to know what he wants. I tend to see his perspective and his point of view. It's a challenge for him to understand what is this COVID, you know, this virus. To him is that he don't understand. It's like, why am I stuck in the house? Why I cannot go out? Why I can't see my friends? Why can I go shopping? You know, why can I go McDonald's or wherever? But I must say Anna did a very, very good job. Throughout this whole 2 months, we have so-called one-to-one video session with Jacob. So during the day, he does have his online classes with his school. But the problem is just for him to sit down for 5-10 minutes to just pay attention to listen to the teacher, right? It's like almost impossible. And when Anna suggested, oh, let's try, you know, doing Zoom, I'm like, okay, because for me, I understand that he couldn't even stay for 5 minutes. And after the first session, I found out that Jacob can actually sit down for 1.5 hours and he can really follow instructions and he really enjoys this session, and he looks forward to the session with teacher Amy and Anna, which I think you guys did a very, very good job. You know, for a kid to really sit down for 1.5 hours, especially Jacob, right? It's almost impossible. He can't even finish a cartoon, what more sit down for 1.5 hours. And I let him go inside the room with the laptop, right? And sometimes I will just listen to what he say, and I just peep at the door there to see. I can see that he's really enjoying it. I mean, compared to, you know, sessions during his school time with his teacher and friends. So I guess the way how the teacher approach the child and how they make it interesting is very, very, very important. Yeah, but for me as a parent, every day is a challenge. You know, there's no textbook for me to refer to. Every child is different. My child might be this way, his child might be that way. So I feel there's no right or wrong in teaching or bringing up a special child. I feel every day is a learning curve for us. Yes, it's a struggle. You have to be very open to admit that you have a kid who is like this, so that you will be more open to suggestion, more open to people giving you ideas or advices. You know, the minute you don't want to acknowledge it and you keep on denying it, I feel that it's very hard. It's very hard for the parent as well, and it also stresses up the child. But yeah, I've been telling people that I have a special kid and I'm not ashamed of it. You know, I see them as a really my superhero, because he has special powers that I really sometimes, like, he can see things that I cannot see or understand. He can relate things that for me, I just like a square is a square is a square, but to him, no, it's not a square. It's six surface, or we have edges, that kind of thing. So I feel that they're special in their own way, and they are also a survivor. They can I mean, they'll find ways to survive in this society lah, and I think they are just amazing people, and so is my child. I feel that he's really amazing. Yeah, so that's about me and my child Jacob. Over back to you, Dr. Go.
Dr. Go, you're muted.
Yeah, Dr. Go is muted.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Elyn. It's so interesting to hear you talk about your relationship between you and your son. And I just okay. Oh, actually, I'm not muted. Uh, I'm not muted here. Can you still hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear.
Dr. Go, yes, you can. Carry on, Dr. Go.
Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Dr. Go, please go on. We can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. So thank you very much, Elyn. As I was saying, it was so interesting listening to you about you and your son. I wish that I can get to know more about it, but yes, you can hear me, right? I think I will pass it over to Rivati. Rivati, can you please take it from here?
Yep, thank you, Dr. Go. Good afternoon, everybody. I see quite a few familiar faces, or rather names. So hello to everyone. I've been lecturer for the past 10 years or so. And, you know,
Yes.
coming from, having been in a higher education system, you would think that in 10 years you would have learned quite a bit about technology, and because why universities implement blended learning and whatever not. But then come COVID-19 and this whole lockdown, I actually realized that I am very far away from technology more than what I thought. So very similar experiences to what the rest of the speakers have to say. It wasn't easy in a from a lecturer's point of view. I think all lecturers in this forum would also agree. It wasn't easy to switch overnight to online education, especially when we were in the midst of a semester. And we had very little turnaround time to figure out what to do. We had to modify the approaches on how we are going to incorporate technology. And so before we start teaching differently, I had to learn a lot about technology. What exactly? I had to learn a lot about the apps. Trust me, I didn't know about Zoom until COVID-19 happened, and learning how to use Hangout and whatever not for classes. So there was a lot of trial and error that was going on. And that whole process itself, battle with the internet connection, fighting with people in the house to keep quiet at certain time because you have class, so you need, a quiet environment, brings about a variety of feelings. To be honest, it was stressful, it was overwhelming, it was frustrated, clueless to a certain extent because you didn't know what to do, how to go about. Anxiety kicked in because you didn't know whether the online classes you did was effective, and so on and so forth. And I think more what adds on to this whole thing is that we educators, everyone at some extent is experiencing a psychological change, getting used to this new normal. So we all have our own emotions, and at the same time we are working with other individuals who also have their own emotional changes. So like what the other speakers have said, I think the role of teacher has changed, where, your job is no longer just to share knowledge, but also to check on them, to check on how they are keeping from all aspects. And, so all these concerns, comes up to, I think all educators have the same concern professionally. How are their students progressing? How apart from their academic process and progress, how are they doing emotionally, right? And in a class, which I'm sure all teachers will be able to reiterate, or everybody would share the sentiment. In a class of whether it's Zoom or whatever, you'll have the few vocal and the confidence one where they will dominate, and then you've got the others who are very quiet. Okay, and this is very different from a physical class. So what becomes a challenge to all teachers is to see how we can structure our lesson to ensure that every student participates. And I think this ranges right from preschool to university. Everybody has got their concerns and everybody's got their own challenges and problems that we are facing. But I think what is the biggest success that we as teachers have is that I think everybody rose up to the occasion. Like, this whole COVID-19 is not something that we expected or we were prepared for. But it was really, really nice to see educators of all grounds coming together via our personal work WhatsApp group or these closed Facebook groups. I know I, for one, used to rant in my group. It gives us a platform or an avenue to ask questions, share ideas, or simply just to rant and complain. So everybody has taken an effort to do what they can do to their best ability, and that itself is very motivating as well as very inspiring. So I think I would say kudos to all teachers, and let's keep the momentum and spirit going. Thank you very much. I would like to invite Ms. Joanne Lu, our last speaker, to share her experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravati. Hi, thank you for having me right here to share with all of you. I am Joanne and I am a kindergarten teacher working with young children in the age of 4 to 6 years old. So lessons were carried out within classroom previously, and I will usually deliver my lessons through storytelling, engaging my students in some experiments. We do show and tell, and sometimes we will have field trip together. And this is some of the activities that I'm still doing right now, even though we have shifted our classes online. Okay, I believe this pandemic has changed all of us and definitely shifting our perception on how traditional teaching and learning used to be. And I conducted my lessons online with the support of both asynchronous and synchronous platforms, which include making virtual face-to-face meetings, posting assignments online, and creating slides for my students. In cases where students do not have internet access, I keep them in touch through phone calls and text messages. So as much as I dislike the part where we were given no choice but to shift our learning field online, I believe my students can definitely benefit from the open learning space online, and nothing matters more than keeping all of us safe from this virus. I also believe that the COVID-19 has made us teachers to realize and accept that teaching and learning should never be confined within the classroom, and we will have to grab this chance to learn and explore something new together. If I say shifting classes online is easy and not challenging, I am definitely telling lies. Teaching young children in particular depends highly on hands-on experiences, and if for teachers to lift this teaching approaches that we have been practicing in our classroom to a whole new level is never easy. I have students feeling frustrated to learn online because, just like what Miss Hannah mentioned before, we will have frustrated students because they don't get to touch things and hold their teachers like how they used to be in the classroom. In response to that, I conducted a few lessons on the topic of COVID-19 to make sure my students understand why schools are not allowed to operate during this period. So we spent some time learning about the symptoms of catching the virus, and the things that we can do to make the situation better. As soon as my students get to understand the why, that is the time where I believe they are prepared and ready to take flight with me to learn more online. The attached visual over here, Dr. Go, my attached visual is something about the activities that I have been doing with my students during this pandemic teaching. So basically, we created videos of hand washing, we made models of lungs, we designed some stay-home posters, and we managed to do quite a variety of activities as the online teaching goes on. And same goes to the activities that we used to do within the classroom, like storytelling, are all going on our online classes. So I would say the good thing about this new shift is teachers get to unlock the hidden talents among our children. For my students, for example, they are being able to film videos now, to design posters. Even the quiet ones are now being able to raise questions. As teachers multiply the content of learning with more interesting videos and visuals, students are actually enjoying themselves just as much as learning takes place in the classroom. So, in my personal experience, students have had to be more focused now, of course, under the guidance of their parents, because they are assessed and evaluate mostly based on their individual work, and hence the quality of their work has improved. Thank you again. I shall hand the floor over to Dr. Go. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. I wonder if I can be heard now. Can somebody give me an indication whether I'm heard or not? Okay, very good. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this is also part and parcel of the pitfalls of new learning, new technology. We also have to face with overload sometime or not so good signals. So I hope you will bear with me. Now we have heard 6 amazing speakers share their views, similar and yet different experiences. And I feel that I learned so much more in this few minutes, less than an hour, than what I can read from books and all that. And I'm also very sure now that we have a number of questions in the message panel which are waiting to be answered. I would like to, I think the speakers also have been reading the message panel. Would any of the speakers like to single out any of the questions and give your answers? Have you all read the questions? Are there any specific questions on the message panel, speakers, that you would like to answer?
Dr. Go, I think that's a question directed at me by Miss Elyn Pow.
Yes. So would you
Yes.
like to answer that?
Yes. For the first question, do I do a separate lesson plan together for SEN kids for my internship? So for my internship, I've been advised by my teacher mentor to design one lesson that is inclusive. So we do not have a separate lesson plan, but we do make sure that each activity and strategy in each lesson is direct, appropriate, and of course, inclusive. Hence, why in certain lessons, for example, the visual I shared earlier, I was doing a science activity with 60 children together. And for the second question, am I doing mainly live lessons or pre-recorded classes or both? I do only live lessons. And I believe its goal is for teachers and students to get comfortable with maneuvering virtually, teaching virtually. And I think it is important that children have the two-way interaction because it's crucial for their learning and development. Thank you for the question, Ms. Elyn Pow.
Very good, very well answered. Does anybody want to also add in or chip in to the comments? If not, then maybe we can take other questions. Okay, no.
Dr. Go, Dr. Go,
Yes,
Greg
yes,
here. I've
yes,
written some of the questions that was captured in the chat group, in the chat. So maybe
yes.
I will resonate these questions again, and maybe you can ask one of your people, your staff, to answer this question. One of the questions was, what risks and challenges do you expect for education in the post-COVID-19 situation?
Yes. So perhaps Revati, you would like to answer that?
Yeah, sure, Dr. Go. Okay, thank you for that question. Now, what challenges and risk? I think my own personal point of view is that the biggest challenge that we as educators are going to face is probably to reduce this negative impact of the pandemic that students have had in these last 2 months. Why? Because some of them, I mean, I'm talking about in terms of my experience with higher education, young adult learners. Yeah, so they all go back. They went back to their hometown. So I've had students who, in normal classroom setting, they did well, but being at home, they got distracted. They had internet connection trouble. They had problem having discussion with their group members for assignments. So when there was like an online quiz, an online test, it sort of affected their performance. So they have mentioned that they do prefer face-to-face. So moving forward, because the new normal, I mean, so we all have to agree, society has fundamentally changed. There's a lot of psychological adjustments that we have to deal with. Yeah. So as educator, maintaining psychosocial well-being of students is very, very important. And that is going to be a challenge. Now, like what I mentioned, education is definitely going to be moving towards having more of online education. So whatever these negative experiences of students that they've had, we need to ensure that it doesn't affect them moving forward, or it's our responsibility to try to, make it as positive as we can. And that, I think, it's not just teachers, but it involves every stakeholder of the education system. Yeah. So these are among the few that I can think of on the top of my head. I hope that answers. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Okay, perhaps there's also another question. I'd like to ask Mr. Low to read out if he has access, or if he can hear me. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask a question, Dr. Go? Yeah.
This is Jerry, is it?
No, soon,
Oh,
Dr.
Dr.
Soon.
Soon. Yeah, okay, Dr.
Yeah.
Soon, go ahead.
Yeah, so instead of the negative aspect of this COVID-19 crisis, what are some of the more positive things that we can look at? For example, what are some of the opportunities in the face of this COVID-19 crisis?
So what opportunities do you see for education in the face of this COVID-19 crisis? Who would like to take this question?
Dr. Go, can I take that
Okay,
question?
Anna, please go ahead.
All right. I think that apart from in the midst of crisis, is a good opportunity to teach all the students, and in fact for parents and for adults as well, to build up the resilience. It's a real life learning. So it's a good chance to see how do we deal with a pandemic and what are the hope that we see from there. And post the pandemic, that means going back to school or going back to the new norms, what are the things that we can do? How do we deal with things that we can be in control? And how do we deal with things that we can't control? These are all part and parcel of life as well, besides the pandemics. So I think it's a good opportunity to demonstrate, to lead by example about resilience, about persistency, about overcoming challenges. Yeah.
Okay, well answered, very well answered. Would anybody like to add on to this? Hannah, would you like to add on to this?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Go. Actually, this question, opportunities, is in the next section, right? But it's okay. I can just say something here because I think what positive things do I see from a crisis? Well, I think I like to quote the Pearl Principle by Surya Das. He says that if there's no inner irritation, there's no pearl. So that's the positive thing I see. Even though everybody is going through a hard time, but I think it's for the better. I feel that I have improved. I feel my teachers, they feel more confident and proud of themselves. They have improved. And the parents also, they look at us differently now. They are more appreciative, and also I feel that the school is also upgraded when you apply technology. So online teaching is in this COVID has actually brought up a lot of things that we see lacking before. So I take it positively. This is one of the good things that I see. Does that answer the question?
Oh yes, it does. I like it's very succinct when you say if there's no inner irritation, there's no pearl. Yeah, such a powerful phrase, huh? And it encompasses a huge load of meaning there.
I'd like to share something that one of the participants wrote down in the conversation. This is by Shanti. She says, I find some of my introvert students can open up when I don't see them. They are less shy and are more acceptable if they do make errors. This one comes from Shanti.
Yes. Would anybody like to comment on that?
Yeah, Dr. Go, can I?
Yes.
Hi, Miss Shanti. Trust me, I have the same thing. My students are more accommodating and they accept me more when they're far away. I'm still trying to figure out what's the secret behind that. But I guess that's good. At least we will then work on that and we know how they can, how they are accepting of that. And, that would also give us a platform to improve on our teaching and their learning experiences.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, research also has shown, I mean, theories in technology integration also has shown that in online learning, some introverted students are more sociable. I think because they find comfort in the text as well as in a kind of prepared interaction that they can have, because some of them are not so, how should I say, vocable when face to face. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very true on that as well. Okay, I think we'll take one last question. I have a last question here. And what learning points and advice would you share with teachers on handling teaching and learning in this current situation? Elyn, would you like to talk from your perspective as a parent?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you please repeat, Dr. Go?
Okay, the question, what learning points and advice can you share with teachers on handling teaching and learning in this current situation?
Wow, I'm not even a certified teacher. I'm also learning every day. going through reading, asking other parents, how are their kids coping. For me, because it's something so new, right? I don't think there's ever a book written about this whole situation. So I guess everyone is also struggling and finding the best way to handle our kid, not only special kid lah, normal kid, my teenager also going crazy already, every day in the house cannot go and do anything, I think just make sure that everyone that's because you are stuck in the house, right? Make sure that the stress level in the house is like very zen, so at least because can you imagine like the sister wants okay, for me my example is like the sister has online class, the brother has online class, I have work, and then my husband also have work. So can you imagine four of us on the computer and then this and that? So I feel that sometimes things will get very tense up. But yeah, I think the ideal situation is just calm and take one day at a time. This shall pass. Everything will be back to normal. It's a matter of time. But by the time it happens, we are already so used to the new normal, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So by the time you're getting used to the new normal, then you get back to the past situation, and then you have to get back to the old
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. But then again, we're
Yeah.
already pro already. We know the new normal and the old normal, so we are good. So be very
Yeah.
positive.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. How about Joanne? Joanne, would you like to share anything?
Okay, I would say for early childhood teacher, we will have to start building our rapport with parents. And I think this is really important because it's our responsibility as a teacher to make our parents feel comfortable to approach us because they are the one who are giving instructions at home as we are conducting our classes online. So we will have to make them feel comfortable to raise a questions or to even ask for assistance. And that is when we will receive parents' feedback as well, when we have that kind of relationship with parents. So we can also improve our online classes further. And the key to success in teaching and learning is always tied to the good relationship between the school and parents. I hope it answers. Thank you.
Yes, it does. If there is no more questions to field, I think I would like to do a very brief summing up, and then we will be ending our forum very soon. Uh, for me, I would say the take home from this past hour is that education in the COVID-19 situation can be seen from four major aspects: from the parents' perspectives, from the children's perspectives, from the teachers' perspectives, and then again also the psycho-emotional factor is very important. Teachers, educators, I think everybody admit that they were nervous, they were anxious, they didn't know it was the first time. And yet the marvelous thing is everybody rose up to the occasion. Yeah. We didn't give up. We are teachers in any circumstances. So kudos to all the teachers out there. But I also must not forget parents. I think you are marvelous. Yeah. And the thing here is that even staying at home, it's not that you're not doing your work. You're working at home from home, and yet you're handling more of your children than ever before. So this kind of juggling is very important, and that's where I sense that need, like some of you said, for parental support, for parents, like Joanne said, parents to be comfortable. So we should see here, as you said, stronger relationship between parents and teachers, where in the past, the trend I see is that sometimes parents are not very welcome to come to school because when parents come to school, it is like parents are giving complaints and all that. But I see here something positive developing. Yeah, parents and teachers are working together and forging a stronger relationship, right? Now, and I think the children are the heroes here. They they went in not really understanding, isn't it? What all these fuss is all about. Yeah, not understanding why you can't go to the malls, you can't go to the playground, not understanding why you can't play with your friends, and yet, they accept it and they learn from it. And I like the fact that Joanne said they reveal hidden talents. Yeah, children learn the fastest. So if you have the faith in them, I think they just rose up to the occasion as well. Yeah. And but of course, teachers and parents also understand the need to prepare the children readiness. Yeah, for this different kind of learning. And in all these, what I see here is the fact that all of us, all the parties, have to take care of our own emotional health. Yeah, emotional well-being. We need to understand that this kind of situation cause stress to everybody. Be aware of that and not develop into burnout. Yeah. So within all this, my final message is love ourselves as parents, as teachers, so that we can give to others. All right. And finally, I wonder if I can share this. Let me see first. I would like to pay tribute. Okay. Hang on. Okay. I would like to pay tribute to all my teachers, past, present, and future. I wonder if you see this slide. If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. And I thank all the teachers of the past, those teachers who made me what I am today. And I hope that I can be an example for future teachers to come. So kudos to all of you. Right? And finally, let's hope I can play this video also. Hang on, just let me stop presenting this. Okay. Be patient. Okay, let me see if you can see this.
You're showing the wrong screen.
Sorry.
Dr. Go, Dr. Go, you must open up your video first and then share that video.
Yeah. Okay, so let me try again. Okay.
Don't forget, before you share, Dr. Go, you must share the video sound also. You must stick the video
Yes.
sound.
Yeah, I do understand that. Okay. All right. So let's see if this works. Do you see the video?
No.
Go, Litwan here. We can't.
No.
You can't, huh? Okay. All right. Um,
Great, we can see it.
okay.
Kita memimpi putra putri negara kita, pada cerita duka kami tumpahkan setia untuk negara kita, panduan hidup kami semua hidup. Kami tetap bersama membantu membela negara yang tercinta. Mana yang diberi kami tak bersiaga. Apa yang kami berjanji sudah tetap kami tunaikan. Di bidang pembangunan kami tetap bersama membantu membela negara yang tercinta. Mana yang diberi kami tak bersiaga. Apa yang kami berjanji sudah tetap kami tunaikan. Sudah tetap kami tunaikan.
Right. So, lastly, I would like to thank all our 6 speakers, Miss Hannah, Miss Aqilah, Miss Anna, Miss Elyn, Miss Ravati, and Miss Joanne for your valuable contributions, your insightful thoughts and sharing. And within this hour, I personally have learned a lot from you all. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
I
Goh.
would like to, yes, thank you. I would like to
Thank you,
pass it
Dr.
over
Goh.
to, yes, over to you, Gregory or Lee Kuan.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Go and your Powerpuff Girls. Really have got a woman power there. Okay. Like before we leave, we are after this session we are having the 4 different type of rooms available for us for career counseling. For those who are interested to know the programs that HELP is offering, there is a room called HELP Counseling Room where we do general counseling. For those who are interested in British education, we have got 2 rooms available. One is for the University of London and the other one is for the University of Derby. And finally, we have a room for those who are interested in education, right? Education and psychology programs. We have a special room for that. So you have to log off from this room and click the ones. These rooms are available in the meeting chat. The links are all in the meeting chat. And not forgetting also when please scan the QR code that's available so that we want to know your feedback about these sessions so that going forward we can improve ourselves. As teachers, we are as well as learners, so we want to improve ourselves. So on this note, I thank you once again for joining us, and we hope to see you again in the coming series of programs for Teachers Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Litwan here.